Good morning. It is Thursday, the 29th day of November 2018. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host, and welcome to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We want to begin today's program with this statement. I'm going to read this to you right now. Dear Wake Up Wenatchee Valley viewers, we are sorry to inform you that the show will be expanding in the new year due to overpopulation and overall poor performance. We will be moving the studio to the roof of the building to allow more natural light for the Wake Up Wenatchee Valley set. In the year 2019, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley will be available worldwide as I continue toward my goal of complete world domination. And it's signed, Mr. Gotham. How could anybody believe this when this hoax came out yesterday afternoon? I don't know who was the perpetrator. That's the original letter that circulated on social media. It was never actually mailed out to anybody. As pranks go, it isn't bad, all things considered, but it certainly got the attention of the authorities, and they actually got to the point where the Wenatchee School District issued a statement about this hoax that was going around yesterday afternoon. The Wenatchee High School was closing because of overpopulation and poor performance. It's not. Kudos, though, to the kids. I like a good hoax now and again. Hi, everybody. How are you? Good Thursday. Dan Kuntz. Let's get you right down the road. We got a lot to get to. Busy show for today. Wenatchee Wild are red hot, the hottest team in the British Columbia Hockey League. We got highlights from last night's 4-2 victory. Good stuff coming your way. Plus, the obscure holiday birthdays. Today in history, everybody's entitled to Mike McKnight's opinion. It's Thursday. We got kennel cameos with Megan McPherson. And in the second half of the program, a pre-taped interview with two of my favorite people, Dan Frazier and Dennis Bolz. Dan Frazier is the Shared Services Director for the Chelan County PUD. Dennis Bolz is the current president of the Chelan County PUD Board of Commissioners. They have a major meeting coming up on Monday, December 3rd. That's coming up in the back half of the program. It's a lengthy interview, so we don't want to waste any time. Let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras, and not a bad view, certainly better than what we've been seeing for the last couple of days. That's a live shot of the Wenatchee Valley from the cross camera. The cross camera is pulled back about as far as it can be pulled back. We are still 22 minutes away officially from sunrise, and today's forecast is just going to be cloudy, not a lot of rain. By the way, kudos to the Wenatchee Weather Service, the National Weather Service. They nailed the forecast pretty much right on the button yesterday. They said we get some late afternoon, early evening rain. That's exactly what we got. It wasn't a lot, but typical November weather, if a little on the mild side. That's going to change, by the way, over the weekend. Details are coming up. Camera 2. Kat says, Kat, by the way, is there we go. It's the Omi Garden camera. Pretty much the same elevation as the cross camera, just looking back in the other direction. The Otobashian Bridge at the bottom of your screen, the Stimmill Complex, and the East Wenatchee area. Pretty light traffic still on this early Thursday morning. Good shot there, kind of overcast. And the sun's going to be taking the day off today, by the way. Just heads up on that. Camera 3, what do we got? Let's take a look at, don't tell me, oh, that's the McNeil Canyon camera? Kat, there you go. So Lake Chelan is in the middle of your screen. That's the camera at the very top of McNeil Canyon. Beautiful view there. Just some incredible stuff. And by the way, we got some, our good friend M. Tucker Wagner, content producer, got some incredible time-lapse photography a couple of days ago. Maybe we can get that up on our Facebook page. You're going to love seeing that. It's incredible stuff from these high-definition cameras all over the North Central Washington area, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. And finally, camera 4 is a view of Nanapoc Ridge. That's incredible. And they got a little snow up there. They'll be doing, by the way, some youth snowmobile classes coming up soon. We'll have that when we get to news in just a couple of minutes. And I hope they have enough snow in the Lake Wenatchee area to actually hold those classes, because we're in for a fairly dry period. No real snow in the Wenatchee Valley. In fact, no real snow up in the mountains as well. It's been a dry November. We're a little behind on our snowfall and on our rain. Let's take a look at the forecast from the National Weather Service, and there you go. Lots of clouds today. I have about 42, just a little bit warmer than normal. By the way, yesterday's high, 38 degrees, was kind of a strange high. It wasn't an afternoon high. We got to 38 degrees at 10 o'clock last night. That's kind of strange, but there you go, cloudy. Not a lot out there, just a very benign day. No rain at all, high of 42. Cloudy tonight, 35 for the overnight low. No rain Friday. Just a repeat of today, just maybe a little bit warmer, that's all. A little bit of light rain in the afternoon, just a slight chance on Friday, high of 45. Friday night, slight chance of some light rain mixed with some snow, perhaps no accumulation expected really. Friday night, overnight low going to get down to about 33. The weekend, cloudy on Saturday, high of 39, then a sunny, cold period starts to come our way Sunday. 36 for the high, then just 34 on Monday, and then Tuesday. And cooler still, and the reason we're going to cool down is those overnight lows without any clouds holding in the heat. Going to get down into the lower 20s, maybe even in the upper teens in many locations. All in all, as far as the forecast is concerned, pretty darn quiet. Overcast and 37 outside of our studios. Let's take you up to the major mountain passes. If you're going to drive over the mountain passes, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, please use an automobile. No advisories, no restrictions on I-90. Things are looking good there. The roadway bare and wet. You'll not have any problems at all. Let's take a live shot at Stevens Pass. So they have a traction tire advisory on Stevens. The roadway is mostly fine. Just when you get to the very top of Stevens, the top 2 or 3 miles in either direction, you're going to find some frost and ice in places. Traction tires are advised on Stevens Pass, but it looks pretty good. Blewett Pass is fine. Bare and wet, some frost and ice in places. No advisories, no restrictions. Nothing at all in the mountain passes today. Just a slight chance of some super light snow. Partly sunny skies in the mountain passes today. In fact, there's no precipitation at all until Friday, and then maybe just a little bit of light snow Friday into Friday night. Outside of that, between today and all the way into Wednesday of next week, very little snow or precipitation of any kind is expected in the mountain passes, which is good news for you travelers. Not so good news for the ski resorts. All the major ski resorts that find themselves tucked into the Cascades have had a hard time getting going this year because it's been more rain than snow up at the ski resorts. It is 6 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. When we come back, your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Live from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
I came here to CVCH because one of my friends referred me. When I met Dr. Jocelyn, she was just amazing. She connected with my son, and it meant so much to me. He opens up so quickly because she just sits there and plays with him. It really is like going to see a friend. It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted and respected. It just feels like home.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
8 minutes after the hour on this Thursday. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's take a look at your Thursday morning headlines. A Royal City man is dead following a shooting there on Wednesday morning. Grant County Sheriff's Office reports that law enforcement arrived at a home in the 400 block of Juniper Circle in Royal City, where they found the body of 58-year-old Jesus Flores in an SUV parked outside the home. The suspect is the victim's son, 21-year-old Jonathan Torres, who was taken into custody and booked into the Grant County Jail on first-degree murder charges. The victim was apparently shot in the head while riding in the front seat of the SUV by the suspect, who was in the back seat. Kyle Foreman with the Grant County Sheriff's Office said the driveway of the home is a path that many school children use to walk to school, but stressed there is no danger to the public. Jonathan Torres and his brother Jesus were recently identified as being involved in a shooting in Royal City on November 14th, which injured one person. Jesus turned himself in to investigators, but Jonathan had been on the run from authorities since then. Detectives say the investigation into both shootings is still in its early stages. Jesus was released from custody earlier this week after a judge ruled there was no probable cause to hold him. 5 people, including a 3-year-old child, were injured yesterday when 2 cars collided in Grant County. A State Patrol report says it happened on State Route 281 at Beverly Brook Road, about 2 miles north of George. A car driven by 48-year-old Sue L. Field of George struck another vehicle driven by a Royal City man. Field and her passenger, identified as 51-year-old Fermin Medina, transported to Quincy Valley Hospital for treatment. The driver of the second vehicle, along with his 2 passengers, including a 3-year-old child, were also sent to the same hospital. State Patrol troopers said the cause of the accident is under investigation. Newly elected Chelan County Superior Court Judge Travis Brandt officially sworn into office Tuesday before a standing room only gallery of friends and supporters. Brandt was elected in November after the incumbent judge, Robert McSeveny, dropped out of the race to accept a position on the U.S. Immigration Court bench in Seattle. Brandt was promoted to the bench after 15 years of private practice at his Brandt law firm. Judge Leslie Allen presided over the ceremonies. A youth snowmobile safety training class is set for Saturday, December 8th in the Lake Wenatchee area. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office, in cooperation with the Washington State Parks and Recreation Commission and the Lake Wenatchee Recreation Club, is offering a free snowmobile safety certification class to young snowmobilers. Spokesman Rich Magnuson explains.
During that, we'll cover basic snowmobile maintenance, survival skills, dealing with emergencies, including avalanche awareness, proper clothing when you're out riding, hand signals for riding and other basic skills, and then preparing for the ride, making sure you have all the right equipment, making sure your machine and everything's ready to go before you head out on the test or on the ride. And then the skills test, so parents that do send their kids to the class will give the parents a sign-off sheet for the riding skills test, and they'll be able to check their kids off once we do get some snow and they can take them out riding. They can actually sign their own kids off and then send it back into the state, and they'll mail them their Safe Rider card.
The class is free. It's designed for youths ages 12 to 16, but it's open to new riders of all ages. The class is scheduled from 8 a.m. to 4 o'clock, December 8th at the Lake Wenatchee Recreation Club, which is at 14400 Chihuahua Loop Road in Leavenworth. By the way, lunch will be provided to the participants by the Lake Wenatchee Recreation Club. A Wenatchee defense attorney who specializes in DUI arrests says he's seen cases involving higher blood alcohol levels, but on the other hand, he's also seen more people being arrested with lower blood alcohol levels. John Brangwin discussed one of the holiday's biggest problems, which is drinking and or smoking while driving, on a recent episode of Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Mad Dog McNaughty.
I've definitely seen a kind of an overall decrease, especially in the higher BAC levels. I mean, people have adjusted their behavior. There has been a change, but there's still plenty of DUI offenses that occur. The other thing I've seen, though, is the police making arrests at lower and lower levels with less and less evidence. So in other words, I'm seeing these 03 arrests where I think people would have been let go. I've seen a 05 being charged with DUI. 05 breath test, legal limit, of course, is 08. So I'm seeing more of that. Since marijuana is legal, we've seen an increase in marijuana DUIs. Very easy to get a marijuana DUI. I'd really caution anyone that smokes marijuana, you cannot smoke marijuana and then drive. The legal limit of 5 nanograms, there's studies that say that that's roughly equivalent of an 03 alcohol level. Okay. So that, in other words, if we wanted to have an 08 for marijuana, it should be 14 nanograms, but it's 5. But what I remind pot smokers is it's a legal limit, so it doesn't matter that you're not impaired. It's a legal limit. It'd be no different if they set the speed limit on 990 at 45 miles an hour. You go through there at 75. It's not a valid defense to say, well, but I was safe at 75. No, the speed limit is 45, so it's a ticket. So the marijuana users really have to be careful.
You can see Mike's interview with John Brangwin in its entirety. Street Talk and Other Stuff is available on our website. Just go to the on-demand feature on our website at ncwlife.com. And finally, we close out our morning news with something a little different, a boy and his best friend.
Hey woman, I've been watching you for a while. We ain't got no time for games. Don't hold back and love me. Don't hold back and love me. Don't wanna love me 'cause you ain't the only one. But if you don't commit yourself a bit, I'll be gone.
No comment needed. How do I transition from that to the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive? We call this a segue. By the way, the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive is in full swing. As you're out and about shopping this holiday season, we're asking you to pick up a brand new unwrapped gift for kids and bring it to any of our sponsor locations. There's a bunch of them. Sangster Motors, Hooked on Toys, both works in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, both Les Schwab locations in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, the Highlander Golf Course, Elemis Salon and Spa, the Walkabout Grill. Make sure it's new, make sure it's unwrapped, and if you're really not sure what to get, we have a Facebook page. It has the list right there, all the hot hot toys and the age groups and what they might be looking for makes it a lot easier. Or if you're completely not sure and you don't have the time, money is good too. The Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. Last year we helped out 700 kids. Our goal this year is 1,000, but we need your help. The Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. Go to our Facebook page and check out all of the details. Speaking of details, what happened on this Thursday? We'll let you know with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The evening news with Grant Olson. Grant also handles the weather forecast, and he does it quite well. Eric Grandstrom in the sports chair, 5, 6, and 10. Your 3 chances to check out the news. You can also watch it on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com and on our Facebook page. We get them up and about on the World Wide Web at about 4:30 or so in the afternoon. And don't forget to get a hold of us. If there's something out there you think demands our attention, the bottom of your screen is all the different tools we have available to you. Our phone number, our website, our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, whatever the case may be. If there's something out there that you think we need to report on or take a look at, get a hold of us. We appreciate it. This is as much your station as it is ours. Going to take a break at 16 minutes after the hour. Sports is next. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley rolls on from Studio 44 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shainman here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Tel. Village Voices Christmas in the Mountains concert is this Friday at 7:30 p.m. at the Leavenworth Church of the Nazarene. Tickets are available at the Leavenworth Chamber of Commerce. This Saturday is Christmas Family Fun Day at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center from 10 to 4. There will be refreshments, crafts, photos with Santa, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
Welcome back to Studio 44, 17 minutes after the hour. Overcast, 37 degrees, lots of clouds today. No rain in the forecast, and a high of 42. The Wenatchee Wild hosted division-leading Penticton last night at the Town Toyota Center, and they pulled off a 4-2 victory and make it 4 in a row for the Wenatchee Wild. It was deep into the scoreless first period when Wenatchee finally lit the lamp in the 17th goal in the season by Matt Gochevsky. It was the first time since last week that the Wild scored first in the second frame. 2 rare unassisted goals, one by the V's Cassidy Bowes and the other by Wenatchee's A.J. Hodges. And then Christophe Filion scored what proved to be the game winner a minute 23 into the third period, and a nice feed from Brandon Cook. To the highlights we go. Our checker on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Arnold to lefty over to Dorsey. Shot, save, rebound. Score! Matt Gochevsky on the rebound. B.J. Fletcher had it, got knocked away. Jack Barnes drops it off for Bolz. He's in, shot, oh, and he scores. Cassidy Bolz from the right circle, and it was kind of an off-speed shot. He shot it from the right circle, and he just didn't really rip it. It was just kind of a softer shot than you might have expected, and it was as if Austin Park overreacted to it. He reached out with the stick to make the save, and it kind of went underneath the stick on the blocker side, and an angle back through center. Up, stolen away. Shepard lost it. Here's Hodges. He shoots. He scores! A.J. Hodges. Cole Shepard was coming out of the zone and just lost the handle on it. Brandon Cook angles into the zone on the near side. Hits the brakes. Looks for help. Threads it through. Tip. Score! Oh, my, what a pass. And the redirection by Christophe Filion. Absolutely beautiful. It's picked off by Miller. Linnell tips it down inside the zone. Over to Bolz, back to Linnell, and he scores. Snell grabs the loose puck. Comes up through center, poke checked away. Souter sends it over to the left corner. He's got Dorsey out front. Souter to Dorsey. Shot, save, rebound, score! Chad Sasaki. after a tremendous save by LaFontaine. After Souter set up Dorsey all alone in front, LaFontaine had to make a very good save, which he did, but the rebound bounced right to Chad Sasaki. Eventually extracted, but picked off by Dorsey. Tried to clear, held in midpoint. Shoveled over and slapped just wide by Cilia. Played by Rizzo. He chisels it out front. That's going to be broken up, and then Stratton can't clear again, held in by Miller. That shot blocked. Back to Stratton again. He fans it around behind, picked up by Modry. Modry ahead, and that's tossed out through center. The game is over, and the Wild win it 4-2.
For the Wild, it's on the bus for the long trip to Salmon Arm for a game Friday. They'll be at Vernon on Saturday. Don't forget Pink at the Rink. You can paint the pink on Monday, December 3rd. You can paint the rink pink on Monday, December 3rd, and the game will be next weekend. Tonight is hockey night on the NCAA Live Channel. It's Thursday. The Wild take on the West Kelowna Warriors. This is the game from last Friday at the Town Toyota Center. It was a wild one. Check it out tonight, 7 o'clock right here on this very television station. Prep schedule today. Let's take a look at it. The Wenatchee girls in basketball are in Pasco at 5:45. Chelan hosts a doubleheader against Clay Elum. Antioch travels to Manson. That's also a girls-boys doubleheader. Wrestling, they're going at it. They're in full swing now. They got some jamborees. Cascade, the Kodiaks are going to be on the road today in Clay Elum for the Warrior Jamboree. Eastmont, Wenatchee, Eisenhower, Davis, and West Valley in the pool. Moses Lake today for the pentathlon that begins at 4 o'clock. Girls bowling today. Eastmont, Wenatchee are in Yakima. The Wildcats take on Sela in a non-league game. The Panthers take on Ellensburg in non-league bowling, and that happens this afternoon. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday morning. Let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. Let's go square dancing. Everybody loves square dancing. That's one of my favorite Looney Tunes cartoons. You remember that one? Do-si-do with your partner, square dancing, which came from Ireland and England, and they came over to the United States in the early years of this country. It was English, Irish, and Scottish settlers who brought square dancing here. But the idea of having a caller, somebody up on stage and calling the moves, that's an American invention. The origin of Square Dance Day, why is it on November 29th? We don't know. Happy Square Dance Day today, 22 minutes after the hour. Today in history, the slave ship Zong was on its way to the United States. 133 African slaves on board. They made navigational errors. They got lost. They started running out of food. They started running out of water. And the crew said, what are we going to do? We're not going to make it to the New World. We're all going to die out here. And so they took 133 African slaves and they threw them overboard so they could eat and they could drink. And they made it to the New World. And by the way, they did it so they could collect the insurance. If you can believe it or not, that happened 237 years ago. Today's the 171st anniversary of the Whitman Massacre. Dr. Marcus Whitman, his wife, and 15 others killed by the Cayuse Indians. It started the Cayuse War. Historians have debated why this whole thing happened. Most people agree it was because Marcus Whitman and his Caucasian family introduced measles to the Native Americans. He gave them the measles, but he couldn't cure the measles, and that got him mad enough. Anyway, that happened on this date 171 years ago. Happy 46th birthday to Pong. Pong, boop, boop. The first commercially successful video game, Pong, made it to the shelves on this date 46 years ago. Thank you, Atari. And it was on this date 31 years ago today that Korean Air Flight 858 crashed, killing all 115 passengers and crews on board. It was a South Korean airline, and they found out that it was two North Korean agents. North Korean agents planted a bomb to bring down a South Korean airline on this date 31 years ago today. Let's do some birthdays. Vin Scully. Hi, everybody. It's Vin Scully, the longtime voice of the Dodgers for 67 years. Began in Brooklyn, made it to L.A. He, of course, retired a couple of years ago. The great Vin Scully, maybe the best baseball play-by-play guy ever. Vin Scully is 91 years old today. Speaking of baseball, Mariano Rivera is going to go in the Hall of Fame this year. 19 years, the New York Yankees. He's on the Hall of Fame ballot this year. He's going to make it with flying colors. Greatest reliever in baseball history. Mo is 49 years old today, and Russell Wilson is 30. He's still young. Russell Wilson is 30. He won more games than any other NFL quarterback in his first 6 seasons. He holds over 30 Seahawks records. Happy 30th birthday to Russell Wilson. I got a great way to celebrate, Russell. Go out and beat the 49ers on Sunday, all right? Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and my conversation with Dennis Bolz and Dan Frazier coming up. But first, we got to get Bertha the cat a home. It's Kettle Cameos with Megan McPherson.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life channel. We are here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Big Bertha.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about Bertha?
We don't know a whole lot about Bertha. She came in as a stray. She's very loving, but she's not a lap cat, as we're finding out right now. But she's very sweet. She's just a lover, and she's looking for a good home. We know that she is not great with dogs, but we're not sure about other cats, since she was a stray. But she is just a doll. She's very sweet, and yeah, she just wants a home for the holidays.
If someone wants to adopt Bertha, what should they do?
You can just come down to the shelter and visit with Bertha, see if you're a good match, and if you are, she can go home with you today. The other great thing is, thanks to Barry Automotive, her fee is waived, so there is no adoption fee currently during the month for Bertha.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Kennel Cameos is supported in part by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Leavenworth. Not only does the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory have great house-made fudge and super delicious candy and caramel apples, but they also have great doggy treats for your four-legged friends, located at 636 Front Street in Leavenworth. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
It's a hometown celebration. Christmas in Cashmere, Saturday, December 1st from noon to 3. It's family fun with a kids' craft station, festive music, complimentary warm beverages, and tasty holiday treats. Come enjoy the sights and sounds of the season while awaiting the arrival of Santa Claus. This message brought to you in part by
Cashmere Veterinary Clinic. Natural pet care in everything they do. Downtown Cashmere. Find Dones Valley Pharmacy in the heart of downtown Cashmere. Discover great gifts, and they'll be happy to gift wrap for free.
Rosemary, I've been at this job for a whole week and I haven't got a promotion yet.
You should have someone around to help you think things through.
Maybe I should.
I'm always available.
Oh, you're sure great. I hope I can show my appreciation.
Lunch!
Huh?
I said lunch.
What about lunch?
I'd love to.
Love to what?
You said, what about lunch? Gee, I thought you'd never ask.
I didn't mean what about lunch. I meant what about lunch?
Or dinner and a show.
What show?
Wenatchee High School's How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Buy your tickets today.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Tel. The Wenatchee High School Band Boosters annual Holiday Craft Bazaar is this Saturday from 9 to 3 in the Wenatchee High School Commons. Come find that perfect gift. Also Saturday is Christmas in Cashmere from 12 to 3 on Cottage Avenue. Enjoy warm beverages, holiday treats, goodie bags, arts and crafts, music, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, when I was a kid, there was a newspaper comic strip about a police detective called Dick Tracy. Do you remember him? And Tracy had this very unique item, a two-way wrist radio that he used as a walkie-talkie device. And we all thought, man, cool. Wouldn't it be great to have something like that? You know, it seemed impossible to imagine that we could just carry something around that we could use to talk to anybody. Well, of course, we have something better now, you know, cell phones. And I bring this up not just to exclaim the miracles of modern technology, but to express amazement at the incredible scientific advancement we enjoy. Not just that, but I want to ask a question. Could Dick Tracy use his two-way wrist radio to look at cute cat videos? I don't think so. Probably not, poor guy. Well, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion.
It's a hometown celebration. Christmas in Cashmere, Saturday, December 1st from noon to 3. It's family fun with a kids' craft station, festive music, complimentary warm beverages, and tasty holiday treats. Come enjoy the sights and sounds of the season while awaiting the arrival of Santa Claus. This message brought to you in part by
Discover Eplidolin Assisted Living, affordable care in a home-like atmosphere with no long-term contracts. Enjoy a healthy meal on the deck at Leavenworth Walkabout Grill.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Find it all at Wenatchee Valley Mall. There's something for all ages at Wenatchee Valley Mall. No matter what the weather, the kids will have fun in one of the many play areas around the mall. Sign your kids up for fun adventures and super specials when they join the Kids Club. It's a great time for kids and an even better time out for parents. Check out specials and events 24/7 at WenatcheeValleyMall.com. It's your Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come shop today. And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Monday, December 3rd is a big day around the Chelan County PUD. There's a lot on the agenda. It's going to be a monster bunch of meetings. They got budgets, they got Bitcoin mining, they got all kinds of things on the agenda. A lot of decisions are going to be made on Monday, December 3rd. And here to talk about that, to my far left is the president of the Chelan County Board of Commissioners for this term, my good friend Dennis Bolz. And to my immediate left, Dan Frazier, the Shared Services Director. What does that mean, Dan? Come to think of it.
I actually oversee a lot of our internal services. So real estate is one of them, obviously, facilities, fleet, those kind of services.
Okay. So now I know. There you go.
Well, now I know, too.
Dennis, let's start with you. First of all, congratulations on another 6-year term. Dennis was recently reelected without any opposition. No surprise there. From the day that you ran for this job all those years ago, your number one campaign was pay down the debt, pay down the debt, pay down the debt. That was a big thing with you, Dennis. And from the numbers that I see here, you're working in the right direction.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those, I have a 4-year commitment. And so this is my 4th election. And in that first one, we were at $1.06 billion in debt. And so the commitment was to pay that down. And so about halfway through my first year, a couple of engineers walk in one day and say, hey, a couple of our turbines at Chelan, and we have 2, are both starting to wobble. Wobble and engineers are not compatible terms. And so we had to vote to increase the debt just after campaigning on that I would never do that, which was one of my early lessons about being a commissioner. But we have been really steadfast in paying that down. And we paid down well over $550 million of that debt. Our goal is to get to 35% or less debt ratio to our base equity. And we've exceeded that. We've exceeded that goal 1 year early. We're slated in this year's coming budget, 2019, to pay down another $41 million. And what we've done is we've paid down everything that we can pay down that doesn't have a penalty. So anything that we would pay ahead now would actually cost us money to pay it down. So we're going to follow that debt retirement schedule, and bring this down to a level where it makes sense to carry us some debt on our books, but yet utilize our cash in a very productive way. So things have been good. We do have cash, and we're committed to rebuilding a lot of our infrastructure, particularly in the dams, and utilizing cash to do that rather than loans. But there may be a point where that crosses over. And with interest rates where they are, sometimes it's, if it's a better deal to finance, we'll finance. If it's not, we probably won't.
The budget is a very small increase. For you ratepayers out there, you're not going to have any rate increase at all if you're just Joe Sixpack. It's a good-looking budget. 72 last year, 78 million this year. Does the Chelan County PUD work on a baseline budget process? In other words, this is the budget that each department gets, and this is the same you got last year, and if you want to spend more money, you got to justify it to us? Or?
Well, we don't operate quite that way. Each department creates, during the year, business plans. And with those business plans, then there are budget requests that are made, and then those are compilated, and we take a look at the overall structure of those requests and where are the priorities, and then how it's going to be laid out. So it's kind of pretty much a fresh process every year because the needs change. And I think if you get into that business cycle where you're just kind of rolling over your requests, then you end up like I did as a school principal sometimes. You take over a building and you find an art room full of acrylic paint, $35,000 worth of acrylic paint, and you use about $1,000 worth in a year. So you don't want to necessarily do that. But yet on the other hand, we will have some areas, as an example this year, with our reinvestment at Rock Island in terms of rebuilding structures there, where some of the money will carry over because of some scheduling issues have not allowed us to complete work. So what are we going to do next year, and then what are we going to carry over at that same time? So there's a process in there that recognizes that. The other thing that we don't do is we don't say that we're carrying that money over and look what a great job we're doing with our budget, because that creates then a false budget. Yeah. So we acknowledge the fact that there are carryover dollars paired with new dollars that create a budget, but it doesn't create that illusion. So we want the budget to be real.
And as a taxpayer, I'm all for that. As a customer owner of the Chelan County PUD, I'm all for that. 5 years ago, nobody saw Bitcoin coming. Nobody saw it coming. And here we live in this beautiful area that's not only geographically beautiful, but of course we have this incredibly cheap hydropower. And here they came. The Bitcoiners came because their machines take up an incredible amount of electricity, and here we go with all this electricity, and now this whole new set of circumstances were dumped on your lap. And come Monday, after the moratorium's been on since what, March? Is that is that March?
Well, I'd have to say which March.
Yeah, which March?
Because we've had multiple moratoriums over the last several years as we've been trying to work toward some kind of equitable solution on this issue.
Well, I read this. I have it's 31 pages. It's I think I got most of it here. I didn't print the whole thing up. It's 31 pages. It's the recommendations from your experts on what you're going to talk about on Monday. I read it. It gave me a bit of a headache for one thing, but it also gave me a pretty good insight on what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen on Monday, Dennis? Can you give us a preview of what to expect?
Yeah, I think several things are going to occur. We will probably take a look at voting on the base rates for Bitcoin mining. I think that's going to take place on Monday, unless Commission decides we need more time to take a look at that. But I think pretty much everything we need to know, at least to make the decision at this point, is relevant and is before us. The commitment we are making for sure is that we are really hopeful that we have this about as tight as we can get it in terms of making a decision, knowing full well that very few, if anyone, has gone down this pathway before. So we don't know what we've built in yet in terms of perhaps some errors. And we're amenable, as this thing plays out over time, to take a look at that, the structure of the rates and make adjustments to create the equity and fairness that we hope that we're building into it. So it's a done, it'll be a done deal if that's the vote. But yet at the same time, it's open on that other end to keep eyes open and continue to work at making this the best that we can. And when I say that we're on the leading edge, it's just really been interesting to be a part of a small utility, and then you find yourself or your staff interviewing with Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Politico. I just did a 2-hour interview the other day with the Financial Times, a reporter from Japan, regional press, national press, which is not anything that we ever look forward to or had built into our design. But it also, I guess, just emphasizes that how important this is as a national issue. And when people are not finding exactly the price that they're wanting, they're now branching out and looking other places. So kind of what Chelan County PUD and Grant and Douglas are doing are paving the way for other, 3,000 other public utilities around the United States. And so being the lead dog isn't necessarily all that it's cracked up to be, but I think our staff and certainly our management and the leadership under Steve Wright have done, I think, about as careful and considerate of an approach to this as you possibly can. They've been great.
What do you hear from the Bitcoin miners themselves? I mean, they've been saying, Dennis, I know you need a rate. We understand it. We know we need to have a box that we work out of. But if you do this to us, we're just going to say, to heck with it. We're going to go out to Grant County and Douglas County and just say, see ya.
Yeah, some people take that approach,
Yeah.
and others don't. Some of the larger ones, in particular, have said, can you just give us a box to play in? Share with us what it is you think we ought to pay, and we'll determine in terms of our business plans what we can do to make that feasible and operational. Others have said, listen, we know our market is volatile, but
To say the least.
To say the
Yeah.
least. Yeah, because like I said, last night I looked and it's $3,902 last night for Bitcoin. In January, February, it was up around 20,000. So that's a huge variable in less than a year. So they know that they can't stabilize that end of it, but they would like us to stabilize at a very cheap rate the cost involved, and the biggest cost involved is the energy cost. And so that would actually then, if we did that as the review would like us to, that would cause us then to have to socialize those additional rates across the other 48,000 base meters in Chelan County. And as I shared earlier with you, no one has walked up to me in a grocery store aisle and said, hey, Dennis, can you increase my rates so the Bitcoin miner has a stabilized, market that they can play in on the energy cost? And so that's never been a conversation yet. And so but still, those are people of Chelan County. Those are our customers who are in the Bitcoin mining. How do we try and then create something that may be feasible for them with no guarantee that it would be, because we can't control the market, and yet be fair to the other 48,000 ratepayers who are saying, we're not interested in subsidizing. So it's been that balance, and as a commissioner, you represent both, and you listen to both, and then staff, like I say, have been great in terms of trying to find where that is. So there are about three major components to this. One is that when you set up Bitcoin mining, it's a different electrical operation, a different usage. And so the structure of delivering electricity to that site has to be done differently. And to create safety, it's a more expensive process. And because those systems run at a high rate and 24/7, 365 days a year, they cannibalize the system. They wear the system out faster. So first of all, you've got an upfront expense to create the safety, and then you have ongoing expenses that are going to lead you to a higher repair service because they wear out sooner. And so who pays for that? And again, it comes back to the person using it. Our philosophy is ought to be paying for it. So the upfront cost and the ongoing cost are going to be higher, just simply because of the usage and the way it's used. Also, in the spring, if this goes into effect, because they use a high load, which impacts our ability to sell electricity elsewhere, the high density load rate structure will come into play, which is going to cost them a little bit more. And then a year from spring, we will go into a variable rate. And the variable rate will be market based. Right now, if there's a when we go in May, or April, excuse me, when we go in April, the cost of the electricity will be a fixed rate, and we're willing to bear that for a year to kind of see where this thing shakes out. But a year from now, in April, we'll be looking at a variable rate. So if we can get energy cheaply off the market, that'll get passed on to the Bitcoiner. If it's higher, that'll get passed on to the Bitcoiner. So they bear that fluctuation in the market rather than the other, like I say, 48,000 ratepayers. So it's trying to find that balance. And some people accuse us of being biased one direction or the other. And ultimately, I think, at least for this commissioner, at some point you reach the philosophy that you're agnostic. What you do on your side of the meter is pretty much up to you, unless it affects the other ratepayers. And so for you to be involved in Bitcoin mining, whether some people think that's moral or immoral or all the other arguments that have come up, it's kind of an agnostic approach, but yet we're looking at the fairness and equity associated with both sides, no pun intended, of that coin.
I do not envy the vote on Monday. It's going to be one of the biggest votes I think you've ever had to take, hasn't it?
It's a significant one.
I don't want to dig in hyperbole, but it's big.
It is.
It's big. It's big.
It is.
Speaking of big, they need more room at the Chelan County PUD, and that's where Dan Frazier steps into our conversation. Thanks for nodding off there, Dan, during Dennis's soliloquy there. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a possible new home for the Chelan County PUD out in the old station area. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan Kuntz alongside Dennis Bolz and Dan Frazier from the Chelan County PUD. We talked about how Bitcoin kind of came out of nowhere and dropped in everybody's lap. That's not the case with the actual size of the campus of the Chelan County PUD. The Chelan County itself is a big county. They got offices all over the place, with their offices downtown and all kinds of satellite offices. Is it particularly good for the owners and of the taxpayer owners of the Chelan County PUD? Not necessarily. They've needed more room for quite some time, and that problem looks like it's going to be addressed, and here to address that problem is Dan Frazier. Walk me through the process. It's been a while, but people have been saying for quite some time, how can the Chelan County PUD have such a small little campus in downtown Wenatchee and yet still do all that they do? Well, things are going to change, it looks like?
Well, we're hoping to. We've spent about 3 years looking at our strategic facilities plan, we're calling it. It was initially a look of what's it going to take just to maintain what we've got. We knew it wasn't the best set up geographically. We're split all over especially our Wenatchee operations are split quite a bit. So we looked into what's it going to take just to maintain what we have, and the number was staggering. And so the commission said, is there a better way to spend the money? So about 3 years ago, we engaged services of a firm that does this kind of strategic planning, and it was a large effort between lots of staff involved, looking at how we've grown over the years, and that's a lot of aha moments through a process like this. And we've grown organically. Who could have said 60 years ago that we were going to have water and wastewater, fiber, all those things that make Chelan County PUD what we are today? Well, we've done it by organic growth. We've bought a piece of property here. We bought Holly Street. We developed that into, actually, that's a larger campus than the 5th and Wenatchee Avenue campus.
People don't notice it because they drive right by and it's kind of tucked behind there.
And so what we've done is just try to stay within what we could do, but this time we stepped back. Kind of anecdotally, we said if a roof leaks, we fix it. If it leaks bad, we replace it. But we never asked, is the building in the right place? Is the building providing the service we want it to do? So we challenged that concept of facilities as part of a strategic implementation across the county and our deployment. And what we found is buildings do make a difference. Where you're located, where your materials and your people and your equipment and your vehicles, that makes a difference. And so we study this, and as you know, we do a lot of financial planning, and we study this very deeply, looked at a total of 7 different scenarios over the 3-year period. Stay downtown, stay at Holly Street, redevelop, develop a split campus between a new operations center or everybody relocating out to a new combined consolidated headquarters and operations and service center. And those two, the operations and service center with a downtown campus, small downtown campus, and the consolidated campus really rose to the top as the best long-term financially. So then once you get over the kind of financial hurdle, what are the qualitative things that make a difference? And what we wanted to do, we had a few things we wanted to make sure we were doing. One is the customer experience. We want the customer to come in. Right now, if you want to get a new service, so you're building a house, want to get a new service, you go to one part of our campus. You can't even park out on Wenatchee Avenue, you got to find a place to park. If you want to pay your bill, you're another part of the campus. It didn't work well, and so most agencies have gone to this one-stop shop. So we wanted to have a good customer experience. One of the things we really highlight a lot is our energy conservation. So we want to have a place for people to come in and say, what can I do with my heat pump? What can I do with my lighting? Right now, it's in the lobby. We have a heat pump sitting in the lobby. It just doesn't work. So that was big. The other one is our providing customer service out to our customers. So right now, we're situated right in the middle of downtown Wenatchee. Over 60% of our truck rolls go north out of that campus to go up the valley, up the river, and service North Wenatchee. And so geographically, Old Station is about the center of our service universe. So that made sense to really locate there.
And luckily, Old Station is about the last big piece of property that is flat and is instantly buildable and interchanges with the highways to get you going and make everything's more efficient. And it kind of fell in your lap in a very good way, didn't it?
Well, we've been eyeballing parcels for quite a while, and it really did come down to that is the perfect location for us. Connectivity is great, transportation connectivity. It's the center of our service area, and it's flat, relatively. And so that's really important to us. So we've been working with the Port of Chelan County for over the last year, talking about how can we make this work.
Let's throw up that, tell the folks at home what they're looking at, my friend.
So in the red, outlined in red, is the 3 parcels that we have a tentative agreement with the Port to purchase. And so there's the L-shaped parcel there are 2 of the, actually was two remaining parcels in the Old Station development of the Port. The one large parcel is commonly referred to as the Haran Block, and then the 1 acre parcel up in the corner is currently used by McDougal as a place to stage trucks as they move into their facility. So those are the 3 parcels we're looking to acquire. We've also, as part of this deal, and it was a very complex deal, but we are leasing that yellow outline building there because we haven't grown, we haven't accommodated growth for several years because we were going through this process. So we have some pent-up growth demand, so we're going to lease that building for the time being. And then the other building there in the green outline is the CTC. So as part of this deal, we would be selling our share of the CTC to the Port, which would give them 100% control of that building.
So that's what it looks like now, and then you've went ahead and done your due diligence and said, well, if we moved our campus out to the property that we want to acquire, the 20 acres or so, it would look something like that.
This, and we always are careful to caveat, these are conceptual site plans.
Yes. Things change.
Yes, things do change, but we wanted to make sure that it worked, that we fit on that site. So the bluish building there is kind of the administration and customer service and that piece, and then all the buildings in the back are different shop buildings. We have transformer shop, fleet shop, wire shop. We got lots of different trade groups out there. In fact, the lion's share of the development is really the operations and service center. The administration is a smaller portion of this.
And consolidating everything into one campus, to me, makes sense. It just makes sense. Everybody's together.
Absolutely. It's really how, when you look at the best way to serve whatever the mission you're trying to serve as a business or as a government agency, you look at what is the time waster. And so as we looked through this process, we asked tradespeople, we asked different people in the organization, what are the barriers to your day? What do you say, gosh, I wish I didn't have to do that because I could get out faster. And so that driving around town was a huge issue. We don't have a single place where we can keep all of our equipment for our line crews. So they have to go one place for a transformer and poles, and their trucks are another place, and their small parts are another place. And so all those things and consolidating those are huge. And obviously that's great for operations, but then when you get into the administrative piece, having access to the engineers, having access to the customer service representatives, and so the operations people having that cross-pollination that's always occurring is always really good for a business.
One of my best friends works in the fleet services department at the Chelan County PUD, and he says, it's hard to do they do incredibly good work to keep the fleet up and running. It's a big fleet. He goes, our little bitty garage behind the headquarters downtown, it ain't cutting it no more.
No,
it's hard to get our job done when you're working in that kind of a deal.
Yeah, it was really built for small vehicles, the size line trucks we have now, the size digger derricks and Vector trucks you see on the roads. That building was not built to maintain those.
Dennis, this old station property, is it a done deal? Is it going to happen?
No, it's not a done deal. That's something that we're going to be looking at tomorrow. But even if we agree to purchase it tomorrow, over the ensuing near future, should the decision be made that this is not the best interest of the ratepayers of Chelan County, we have an option in there in which we can sell the property back to the Port District, and I think that's the right term.
That's correct.
And so we still have that flexibility built in there, which is you don't often get in a real estate deal, but we have it in this one, and we think it's in our best interest to represent our ratepayers, in this way.
One last question before we got a couple of really busy guys here. One last question. Let's assume this whole thing comes together. The Chelan County PD, over the course of probably a decade, eventually moves out to the old station area with new buildings and new campus, which is desperately needed, all that good stuff. What happens to the downtown campus if that in fact comes true?
That's something that we've been concerned about for the entire process. We heard loudly when we started talking about coming up with a concept of consolidation, what happens to where you're at. And we want to make sure that that is not going to be an unknown. So we are actually engaged in a process with the Chamber of Commerce and the Wenatchee Downtown Association, and we have partnered with the City of Wenatchee and the Port to do what's called a redevelopment planning study. We actually had a meeting this morning about that exact process. So we want to see what could be on that site that's really complementary to downtown. We love our downtown, but what's it lacking? What's the next thing that's going to make it the next great thing? And so we think 5 acres on Wenatchee Avenue is a pretty good opportunity, and so we're trying to look at it as an opportunity. If we do move out of the area, we want to make sure that we're addressing that tail liability, as I call it. We want to make sure that we don't leave something that we're not proud of.
Dan Frazier is the Shared Services Director. We now know what that means. Of course, Dennis Bolz is the President of the Chelan County PUD Board of Commissioners. Get lots of rest on Sunday the 2nd because you're in for a big day on Monday the 3rd, gentlemen, all right?
Yeah,
right.
Monday's going to be a great day.
It'll be a great day.
It'll be a great day.
I know you're busy. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to come down and see us.
Thanks for having us in.
Appreciate it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel. We'll be right back. Ho, ho, ho! Santa wants you to shop at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. They have a huge variety of fun Christmas items in their Christmas cottage. There's so much to choose from, and it changes day to day. Santas and snowmen, holiday dishes and decor, village pieces and ornaments. To add to your collection or start something new, you can't beat the prices. What's old is new again for you in the Christmas cottage at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center.
Collins Fashions has your lifestyle in mind. Casual to special occasions, head-to-toe styling, foundations to shoes, jewelry, scarves, handbags, awesome gifts too. Denim brands from Liverpool, Not Your Daughter's Jeans, French dressing, all fits and sizes. Slacks from Joseph Ribkoff, Renoir, Tribal, and Elliott Lauren. Easy care and flattering. Stylish sweaters from Icelandic, Curio, and Tribal. Great selection of cashmere sweaters and scarves too. We always have you in mind at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. That is a live shot from our Omi Garden camera on a cloudy and foggy morning, and that's going to be the case all day today. We did have that late afternoon rain into the early evening on Wednesday. There is no rain in the forecast today, but there's no sunshine in the forecast either. It's going to be cloudy for the most part. High today just around 42 degrees. Cloudy, foggy again, no rain. No rain expected tonight for that matter. Overnight low of about 35. We do it again on Friday. Lots of clouds, just a slight chance of some light rain late Friday afternoon into Friday evening. We'll top off tomorrow at about 45. Light snow early Friday morning into Saturday. We're talking like Saturday morning, like 4 or 5 a.m. It ain't going to stick around. Saturday, lots of clouds and a high of about 39 degrees. And the sun makes an encore appearance on Sunday. The trade-off is lots of sunshine for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. But boy, is it going to cool down with temperatures above normal for Thursday and Friday to below normal by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. And a friendly reminder, hey, Saturday is December. So if you're out and about and Christmas shopping this weekend, don't forget, I like my presents big and expensive. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.